if I ask you a question that please tell us what is the purpose of CRPC, then what you will say? Purpose is of investigating, finding facts, and convicting the accused, right? There will be a trial. So purpose, for example, that is purpose of investigating, right? Collection of evidences, complaint proceedings. There will be a trial. There you will identify the accused, right? And thereafter, finally, you will conduct the trial and convict or acquit the accused, depending upon the facts and circumstances, right? Depending upon the evidences. Okay, so ultimately the justice should be done, right? Ultimately the justice should be done to the society, right? The broad purpose of CRPC is that you should do or you should deliver the justice. Absolutely correct, Seema. Okay, so societal interest is what? There are two interests, right? There are two interests, that is societal interest and individual interest, right? Okay, so individual interest means that a person who has committed an offense, suppose this is the person A, he committed an act, and this act is an offense. So this offense is considered to be an offense against the whole society, the whole society, right? This A, he commits an act, that act is an offense, this offense is committed against the whole society. So therefore there are two interests which are in conflict with each other. What are the two interests? The societal interest at large and the individual interest. Individual is over here is the accused. So what you will be doing? You will be doing the balancing of interest. You have to do balance of interest. You may curtail his right? You may curtail individual right. For example, you may put him behind the bars, right? You may arrest that person. You may arrest the accused. So are you not violating my right to life, arresting me? I have a right to life, that is article 21, right? But if you are arresting me, you are violating my right to life. But at the same time, let me tell you, my dear students, that these articles, these fundamental rights are not at all absolute in nature. You can always say that I have a right to life, you should not touch me, you should not curtail my rights, you should not put me behind the bars. But at the same time, it is not the only individual interest will be affected, rather the society at large will be affected if you have been free, right? अगर आपको छोड़ दिया जाए, if you have left free, you will roam around and you will again create nuisance to the society. A you will again create a fear in the society if you have left alone, if you have left free. So therefore the society will do the balancing, right? The court will do the balancing. Court is what? The court has come from the society itself. The society, we all together presupposes, prejudges that this act is considered to be an offense, right? And accordingly this person should be put behind the bar, or this person should be acquitted, or this person should not be uh, convicted. This is the perception of the society. So altogether society altogether works for it, right? And society decides that what act is considered to be an offense and what act is considered to be done in a private defense, right? In an exception. So that is the society which is deciding. So court is from the society only, and there are the rules which are according to the society, right? So society is very dynamic, so therefore law also has to be very, very dynamic. Because for example, suppose let us see the latest trend. Earlier earlier LGBT was an offense, right? 497 was an offense, right? 377, that is 377. 497, that is adultery. So 377, that was an offense earlier. But now after this judgment, tell me the judgment. First there was a Naz Foundation, and thereafter the Suresh Kaushal, and now the Navjot Singh Johar. Yes, that is a Navjot Singh Johar case, right? So that is what, as it is a very practical situation, that society is a very dynamic. So therefore laws are also has to be dynamic. What may be an offense earlier may not be an offense today, and what may not be an offense earlier may be an offense today. For example, sati, earlier it was not an offense, but today it is abatement to suicide, right? You are abating a person, that your husband has died, so you should also sit on a pile of fire. So that is what, abatement of suicide, right? So that is also an offense. So it all depends upon the society, and you can always say that I have a right to life, I have a right to roam around. Article 19, that is my fundamental right. Article 20, Article 22. But these articles, let me tell you, my dear students, that none of the articles are, none of the fundamental rights are absolute in nature. But at the same time, my dear students, there are the safeguards provided to the accused. So these safeguards are what? These safeguards are what? These safeguards are uh, these safeguards are given in order to prove, in order to make sure that there should be a reasonableness, right? There should not be any non-arbitrariness. There should be principle of natural justice should be followed, right? Okay. So at the end, the society or the court will balance the interest. So these are the two interests which are in conflict: societal interest and the individual interest. So in order to safeguard the societal interest, that is the larger interest, you have to curtail the individual interest. But at the same time, while curtailing the individual interest, you have to keep in mind that he is also having a some constitution or some fundamental rights, that is article 21, right? That is some safeguards should be given to the accused, right? Is it clear? Tell me, is it clear up till now? Yes, Mr. Varun, Yamini, Urja, Shivani. See, whatever I'm saying, you should make a note of it, right? Whatever I'm saying, you should make a note of it. Yes, section 377 was of IPC, Mr. Anant Roy. Okay, that was of LGBT, right? Same uh, sexual relationship in a same gender. Okay. Yes, Shivani, is it clear to you? Seema, Sapteshwara, Vinunath, Priyank, Preeti, Aisha, Anant Roy, Mr. Varun, is it clear up till now? Tell me. So the larger interest is what? Larger interest is the societal interest. Okay. And these, neither of these fundamental rights are absolute. These are not absolute. For example, suppose in the case of Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, right? Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, 1978 Supreme Court, right? That was also a very important case law. So in this Supreme Court held that in court proceedings there has to be fair, just and reasonable. That is what is also given in CRPC, right? So on one hand you are having the investigation, right? On one hand you are having the investigation, that the police is investigating numerous witnesses, police is investigating so many places, and on the other hand, there you are giving the safeguards to the police officer, no, not the police officer, rather the accused. You are giving the safeguards to the accused also, right? So in CRPC you will not find anywhere that there is a violation of basic structure. Nowhere in CRPC, nowhere in CRPC any violation of basic structure. Okay, all right. So these principles are inherent. These principles, what principles? That is, okay, we do not have a space here. So these principles are inherent. What are the principles? That is reasonableness, fairness, non-arbitrariness, or principle of natural justice, PNJ, right? That is principle of natural justice. So these are inherent in CRPC, right? On one hand, you are curtailing the rights of the accused. On one hand, you are curtailing the rights of the accused, right? And on the other hand, you are giving procedural safeguard. You are giving procedural safeguard. Okay, procedural safeguard, for example, suppose that within 24 hours, you have to present the accused after the arrest before the nearest magistrate, right? Which section talks about this? Tell me. You might have heard about it, that once a person is arrested, you have to produce that person within 24 hours to the to the magistrate, right? Nearest judicial magistrate. So that is given under which section? That is given under section 57. So this is what? This is also a procedural safeguard. You cannot detain a person more than 24 hours. That is also given in article which? Article 22 clause 2, right, of the Constitution. So that is a procedural safeguard which is given to the accused. He can demand, suppose if you have detained more than 24 hours in the police custody without producing him before the court, then he can always demand a compensation or damages, and he can also complain to the concerned authority that I have been illegally detained. Because after 24 hours, if you do not produce him before the magistrate, then that was a illegal detention. Okay, is it clear? यहाँ तक clear है? Yes, yes, Mr. Vinunath, very good. Yes, Aisha, Preeti, Priyank, Anant Roy, Shivani, Urja, Varun, Opendra, Yamini. Are you able to understand? Is it clear up till now? So, production of the accused, that is, I have told you within 24 hours, that is also a safeguard, right? So, you have to do the balancing of interest, right? It has to be balanced with individual right of accused, and right, that is right to give procedural safeguard, right to give procedural safeguard to the accused. There is also a maxim, tell me, audi altrum partem. Audi altrum partem. What does it mean? Maxim. That is also a procedural safeguard. Right to heard. Yes, right to hear. Listen to the other party. Right. That is, listen to the other side. Right. Audi altrum partem. Next is nemo judex, nemo judex in causa sua. That is what? Tell me. This is also very important for your PT. So over here, that is, no person can be a judge of his own case, right? No person can be a judge of his, no person can be a judge in his own case. Okay. Yes, Yamni, you are absolutely right. Very good. So these are what? These are the you have to do the balancing of interest, right? Okay. And in CRPC, the procedural safeguard is given, right? These procedural safeguards was not explicit in nature earlier, right? These procedural safeguards was not explicit given in the CRPC earlier. That was made through by several amendments, right? So in Kesavanand Bharti case, you might have heard about this case law if you have ever read Constitution, right? Kesavanand Bharti versus State of Kerala, 1973, right? 1973 Supreme Court, that was a 13 judges bench. So in this Keswanand Bharti case, Supreme Court clearly laid down the principle of basic structure. Yes, Ms. Yamni, you are right. So in this Supreme Court clearly laid down the principle of basic structure. However, you cannot find basic structure explicitly written anywhere in Constitution. These are the inferred. Okay, these are inferred. So basic structure are inviolable. Okay, are inviolable. You cannot violate these things. Okay, which are indispensable. So these are what? That is principle of natural justice, PNJ. That is non-arbitrariness. That is reasonableness, fairness, right? So nowhere in any law, no law can violate it. These are the basic structure. So no law can violate it. No law can violate it. If you are in a societal interest, you have to adhere the basic structure. Okay, if you want, if you are in a societal interest, you have to adhere the basic structure, right? You cannot arbitrarily curtail anyone's right. Okay, you cannot arbitrarily curtail anyone's right. Okay, and that is what is also given in CRPC, that you are restricting the right by arresting. That is what it is given in CRPC also, that you are arresting a person, but at the same time you are providing the safeguards to the accused, right? At the same time you will also provide the safeguards to the accused, right? It is clear. यहाँ तक clear है सबको? Tell me, is it clear up till now? So there was one more case law, that is Sube Singh versus State of Haryana 2006 versus State of Haryana 2006 Supreme Court. This case law was on custodial death. This can be asked in your PT. Okay, so there are rules related to this custodial death. Okay, this can be asked in your PT preliminary test. All right. So basically, earlier when CRPC was was came in. Okay, let me ask you this question. The CRPC came in which date? On which date? CRPC come in force on which date? Tell me. Yes, Seema, absolutely correct. Very good. So that is 1st April 1974. 1st April 1974. This is also important for your PT. They will ask you this question, that on which date the CRPC come into force. Okay, they will ask you one more question, that on which date there was an amendment, 2018 amendment. Tell me, on which date that president has given an assent to the criminal amendment act. Tell me, on which date president has given an assent. Yes, absolutely correct, Mr. Vinunath. That is 11th August 2018, right? 11th August 2018. Absolutely correct. And it came on effect from 21st of April 2018. President has given 11th August 2018 assent, and it came into force from 21st of April 2018. Very, very important for your PT. Okay. Yes, Shivani, Varun, is it clear up till now? Urja, Yamini, shall I dictate you whatever I have explained till now? Anant Roy, Aisha, Preeti, Priyank. So, President has given an assent on 11th of August 2018. Okay, write down. I'm going to dictate you paragraph. Kindly write it down. The purpose of CRPC